without further ado, I'm gonna go get my decor and start push pin hanging things. And my dad helped me pick out like a laser level. So now I'm gonna hang all my shit straight because it irks me when things are not really nice and neat. Yes. I think in the video I showed it, but if not, I definitely have pictures of how ridiculous this tower is. It made it a little easier to hang up the alphabet, that's for sure, but I think the biggest win is going to be my number line. Yes, I know the bag is foolish, it has a job. And before I kept it taped together, it held all the individual pieces that were this big. So I think it's gonna be honestly best for this, especially since I've got this pretty well set up. That's basically the middle of my board, which is nice because then that means wherever 60 is, I'm not even talking to the screen, wherever 60 is, I can line it up with that green bar. But now that I think about it, I think last year I set it up under the white bar. It didn't go across it, so I might need to take a couple of bins down. I'll probably look it up real quick on my YouTube from last year and see how I did it. Hello, okay, so I figured out the leveler and it's great now. What's in my eye? Now that I'm looking at the shapes, I can see that they're tilted, but I'm going to wait to fix them because it's probably obvious in the video, but I'm holding up the new hemisphere poster because like a kid got marker on it. Despite that it's at the height that it's at, a kid got marker on it. So I was like, all right, let me make a new one. And of course I trashed the old one and I'm not taking the old one out. But it's slightly larger. So I have two ideas. One, the seller changed the sizing of it, which is perfectly possible, and I'll just reprint all of them. Or sometimes I've noticed, like when I print task cards, that if I print like through Adobe or Preview, they print one size, but then if I print them from Google Chrome, they're a slightly different size. So I'm gonna go home with that hemisphere paper, print it from Preview or Adobe, whatever, and Google, see if they're the same size. If that's the case, that they're all coming out the same size as the one I printed back in May, then I'm gonna reprint all of them, which is fine. I don't wanna do it. I don't wanna cut 20 shapes, but I will if I have to. I'm gonna hang, because it's now 11:15, I'm gonna hang my number posters next and then take my lunch break. These are kind of a dick to hang up because, I mean, it's kind of similar to hanging up in front of the TV, just like there's something out in front of you. Yeah, I'm gonna start bulletin and then tackle more in my decor bucket. You can't tell that I was off camera for 3 minutes, but I saw a baby. This is the smoothest, actually wait, I had to mute the music. It is life-changing doing bulletin boards when your background stays up. But, oh my God, it was so much faster and so much less daunting. Okay, it is 4:15. I got here around 8, but if I didn't say this in my very first video, I don't remember what happened 8 hours ago. I saw that my new co-teacher, because I have a new like switch partner, she was here, so I was like, oh, I'm gonna go talk to her and catch up, because we got like coffee over the summer, so we're a little familiar with each other. But spoke to her for a little bit, went and talked to people in the main office to get my keys. And then if I don't cut it out, you're gonna also see me going in and out of the room and talking to people a lot. This is the most productive day one I've ever had, even with talking, stopping and eating lunch. I just realized I didn't eat my snack. I packed 2. I ate my peach, I didn't eat my protein balls, so I'm gonna eat those on the drive home. But I think, as weird as this sounds, one of the biggest, or 2 things actually, I have 2 things that were huge time savers. The first, though, the weird one, is having the bulletin border, or the bulletin backing. I cannot believe how much time I saved not having to measure, cut, hold it up. Like, there's been times where I've like put my foot up and my arm and like my face, which I did a few times today. I just put my forehead on something to keep it in place while I was getting tape or push pins or whatever. But to not have to measure and cut, it's even like a half hour. And then once I finally figured out the leveler, or the laser level, that made things also a lot better. A couple of things I do have to tweak tomorrow, now that I have a better idea of using the laser. But, oh, and then the other fast thing was that my alphabet, my, yes, these number posters, and then possibly the shape posters, because I may have to go reprint all of them, as I shared earlier. But having them taped to the back, and and the number line, but having them accordion folded, or however you want to hand gesture that, another huge time saver. So I'm very in love with August me of last year for the taping, and then June me for keeping up the smiley face backgrounds. I don't really want to work when I get home, but I do have some digital things that I need to work on, not necessarily by tomorrow. I'm going to have time to plan next week for sure, which is wild, which I guess will be kind of nice, because on the flip side, I have no supplies to put away, which is also another time sucker. Oh, one thing that kind of sucks, when I was on the floor doing the math manipulatives, those labels don't fit. So I'm going to go home. That's the other thing I had to do. I have to go home and maybe like scale it down to like 90%, because they don't fit by just a smidge. And I kind of like the black border, and even when I cut off the black border, it still doesn't really fit width-wise. I don't know. Okay, last thing is I feel like hair and makeup held up pretty well. This is kind of how I want the hair to look for the wedding, not the bigger curls I had in the morning. And then, I don't know, my face feels fine. I probably could redo my eyeliner, but everything else stayed. So I would call this a very successful hair and makeup trial run. I'm gonna go pan around, and that's the end of day 1. Okay, end of day video. This really looks like a classroom, which is nice. Posters, empty cabinets for right now. This is a work in progress, but I did put up Maverick because he's the light of my life and I miss him so much. I had a lot of SEL and zones of regulation materials dropped off, or some first day things, so I got to work on that. Tomorrow I probably will put up calendar and all the components of it. The number line is up and it's up straight. I'll share that I never had this problem with my Mac where it would just freak out trying to do an update, just saying. This is ready. This is what I was talking about earlier with the labels, so I'm gonna reprint labels tonight. Gonna have to do some vinyl on there. Hand signal posters are up. I don't love green table, which is technically this table, having their bin over there. However, this might be a temporary fix, a long-term fix, I don't know, but I need to make my cozy corner more closed off or more private. And so I've already brought this blue table closer to me. I may even take that drawer system and put them down here and maybe scooch this table over a little bit. Laptops are ready, or I'm sorry, the laptop buckets are ready. There are no laptops in here. Laptops are not ready. These colors are because my students have 10 supply caddies. So again, morning and afternoon sets, and this is because we do a pencil challenge for accountability and responsibility. And so I've run into the issue where without those labels, they'll put 2 caddies like front to back, and then 1 falls behind, and that's where 26 computer chargers are. And so then all those crayons are back there, and like pencils and everything. So I started doing this, I don't know, maybe right after spring break. And I was like, all right, look, if you have pink paper, that's where the pink caddy goes. So if you pick up your caddy and you put that one, then you pick up the other one, like it's a pink for pink swap. So, and then like it helps that on the tabletop is the same color. Okay. I have these number posters up, but I don't like how close they are to each other, so I'm gonna move them up just a smidge, like maybe the top row. Alphabet is up. I'm gonna get an extension cord for this lamp to make the cozy corner a little bit more cozy. Like I was saying, I may just like rotate that from time to time. I could even, why do I carry this with me when I could just put it down? Okay. If I move these drawers, whatever accent, I could do this. And I'm not opposed to this. I think the only reason I don't like this is for transitioning, because when the kids come in after lunch and recess, my homeroom comes in, they get their laptop, and then they kind of just go through this bathroom door to my co-teacher. I mean, this could be an easy thing that someone's job is to rotate it before we go out to recess. That way it's a smoother move. But this might be my cozy corner setup. And then if this back is open, I could hang another one of those SEL posters here. So that might actually work pretty well. Actually, I'll leave this here because my AP is being a butt about it. That was his idea last year too. And it worked for a little bit. Then I have over here, bulletins are done, schedule is up, the crayons. This is where Kid President quote's gonna go, and I need the time by 5 minutes. I have them in, this is like my decor bucket, so it's in there. And then this is the last part, because we're back at the front door.